Yep, tit for tat. You know, I spend a lot of time on social media, especially Facebook. I don't do Twitter, but I do Facebook. And I see a lot of political stuff. Of course, you know that a lot of that's being paid for by Russia and China. Doesn't matter if it's your opposition or your friendlies that's doing it because of Russia and China. Russia and China support extremist groups in both of our illusory divide parties. You don't know it, it's true. So, at any rate, I want to talk about this tit for tat that I'm seeing that's basically just reposting the bullshit that the propaganda organs spout, which is their whole point. I'll explain in a second. So, if you're complaining about the president, right? And there's a big article that says, look what President Trump did. Look what President Trump did. Look what, oh, what is it? Okay? What you are exactly doing by posting that, besides being chain letter junkies, right? Posting these emotional appeals. What you're doing is the intellectual equivalent of going, oh, no, he didn't. It's exactly what you're doing. My thought is you should be promoting your party's platform instead of complaining about the other guy. Get this. What does your party stand for? Well, you didn't say that, did you? No, you just said, oh, no, he didn't. So you didn't contribute to the solution. You just complained about the situation. Now, as an entertainer, for those of you that aren't entertainers out there, for those of you that are entertainers and don't think this, shame on you. But for you entertainers out there, non-entertainers out there, notoriety is as good as fame. Every time somebody complains about the Democratic candidate or the Democratic platform or the Republican candidate or the Republican platform, they're advertising it. That's right. Every time you don't say, my guy wants, you're saying, look at their guy, look at their guy, look at their guy. You people who aren't entertainers could very easily miss that you're advertising your opponents every time you complain about them. Every time. You just pass along what the press says. You pass along what the news programming says. You're advertising your opponents. Because you know what? I hear the name Donald Trump far more from my liberal friends than I do from my conservative friends. How about that? So I'm thinking about Donald Trump because my liberal friends go, oh, no, he didn't. Oh, no, he didn't. Okay? And I hear more about the Democratic Party from my conservative friends. That's right, I have both. Because I think we're all Americans. And we have more in common than we do difference. You folks who don't agree, well, it's a free country. You're supposed to be able to believe what you want as long as you follow certain basic rules. One of which is do not commit citizen on citizen violence. And another of which is do not preach citizen on citizen hate. And what are you doing when you say, oh, no, he didn't? How could they be so stupid? You're preaching hate against half the country. It doesn't matter whether you consider yourself to be a liberal or you consider yourself to be a conservative. You are not solving the problem. You are adding to it. So, the next time you want to post some social media hate speech about the president or about his opponent, because that's all you're doing, you're posting hate speech. Oh, no, he didn't, has no positive reaction in the universe at all, except you feel like this afterwards. And that's bullshit. We're talking about these serious issues that must be addressed. And we have to know where people stand on these issues. And I never hear anybody state that. He says, well, if you had followed my candidate's speeches, in other words, you don't know what he stands for. So, you conservatives, stop talking about the opposition. Start talking about your own people and explain their premise. Explain why you're on their side. And don't use any words like libtard. And don't use, because wait, the people that you're calling that, and that comes to you from the news programming. And those people don't have college educations. And if they do, they have no college education in political science. They don't really know what they're talking about. They're just reading from a teleprompter. Both sides, that's what they're doing. They're not a political commentator, a political analyst doesn't need any credentials. Yeah, but you would. Imagine if you started talking about electrical matters. Oh, you should wear that this way, that way. And somebody says, don't be an idiot, you're not an electrician. Yeah. But these guys get to spout hate, and you spread hate because of them, and they don't even have an expertise on topic. So, my suggestion to you all, both sides, and I'm going to vote one side or the other, letting you know. But my advice to you people on both sides is to promote your own candidate's values. Don't say, oh, them simple family values. Express those values. Well, what are they? Because otherwise you're just spouting slogans. Otherwise you're just pasting and sending along hate speech or mindless things. You're going, oh, no, he didn't, instead of making a difference, saying, well, this is what we do instead. Yeah. So, next time you want to complain about the Democrats, extol your party's virtues instead. And next time you want to complain about the Republicans, extol your own party's virtues instead. These are the things we stand for, and this is how our candidate has worked towards those things over the course of his career. I'd like to see that both from you conservatives and from you liberals. From you Republicans, which aren't all conservatives, and you Democrats, which aren't all liberals. What I would hope, and what any sane person would hope, is that we have a centrist coalition of people on this side of our illusory divide and this side of our illusory divide, getting together enough that the main part of the work of the United States gets done. And then let the crazies cry as long as they don't do anything weird or start violence. And then let the people that are offended by these things state their feelings freely in open forum without preaching hate. Yeah, it's like that. Because when you preach hate against half of the Americans, you're preaching hate against the things you like too, because they're involved in those. Got a college education? Like to lord it over the poor people because you had a college education? Yeah, half of that came from liberals. Half of that came from conservatives. Yeah, that's why there's a college there to train both. Yeah. Even if it has a bias, because everything unprincipled has a bias. The media is unprincipled. The talking heads are unprincipled. And your colleges are unprincipled. The reason that these people are unprincipled is because their main focus, their main interest is in obtaining funding, not educating you as a person or as a member of your society or as a citizen of this great country, the United States of America. And if you hate me, I don't have to care, because it's against the law for you to foment violence against me simply because you hate me. And if you knew anything about the laws, you would know that laws have been passed since that whole bit about corporations becoming entities. Laws have been passed that cover slander and defamation of character now against public figures. So when your rhetoric is all insulting, you're on a list. And you're on a list of people that it will be eventually prosecuted for it if you get too large, if too many people hear what you have to say. That will be one of the pressures brought against you. If you don't believe that, well, those that do not understand history are doomed to repeat it. Georges Santayana, a great American philosopher, if you haven't read him, you should read more. That's all. I'm Wild Bill. I'm not a political animal. I'm getting tired of people behaving like animals when it comes to politics.